It's crazy how easy online shopping is these days, right? It can be 2 a.m, you're lying in bed, practically anything you want at your fingertips. It's like the biggest mall ever, and they never close, and you can shop in your underwear. And smart online businesses know they need to make that checkout process as easy as possible, or customers will just abandon their carts and move on to something else. Have you ever been shopping online, put something in your cart, and then seen that simple purple Shop Pay button? One click, your payment and shopping info is done, and you're back to browsing something else. Well, that purple button means the store is using Shopify. Everything's done with one click, and it makes life easier for everybody. Shopify is the commerce platform of choice for millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from the small startups to the juggernauts like Mattel and Gymshark. If you don't know how to make a website, they got you with their ready-to-go templates. Need help getting the heavy lifting lifted? Shopify's AI tools can help with product images and descriptions, discount codes, and more. How do I show people my product? Yeah, it's Shopify. They offer easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. And did I mention that purple Shop Pay button? That one that's used by millions of businesses around the world? That's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. Shopify.com/RTG. Hey everybody, just before we get into the shenanigans this week, for those of you that haven't seen, Billy from the Game Chasers passed away about a week ago from brain cancer. Fuck cancer, man. For those of you that don't know, the Game Chasers, is a YouTube channel. It's 2 childhood friends, Billy and Jay, and some of their other friends, and they used to record all them, their hunts for old video games and all that kind of stuff, going to flea markets and stores and all kinds of things. And I've been a big fan of their channel for quite a while now. I've watched pretty well every episode they've put out. I still go back to them on occasion. They're kind of a comfort food channel to me and something I like to put on in the background. And it's pretty sad to hear that Billy is no longer with us. So he put his heart and soul into that channel. His videos were great. And I just wanted to take a moment as a fellow retro game enthusiast to send my sincere condolences to Jay and the rest of the crew at the Game Chasers, and obviously to Billy's family, and tell you, if you've got nothing else going on, if you're looking for something to put on in the background while you're gaming or working or whatever, check out the Game Chasers. You can find them at youtube.com/thegamechasers. Highly recommend them. And again, thoughts and prayers to Billy's family and friends. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 348. And it's another one of our world-renowned revisited episodes where we take another look at a game we covered back in the early days of the show and had even less of an idea of what we were doing than we do now. And this week we're taking another look at a game that we initially covered back on Remember the Game number 56, one of my all-time favorites, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy IV. And I want to get 2 things out of the way right now. Yes, for those that don't know, Final Fantasy IV was Final Fantasy II on the Super Nintendo in North America. It had that red cover. You probably know what I'm talking about. The original Final Fantasy 2 and 3 in Japan never came over here to North America back in the day. So 4 was the second one to come here. So they made it 2, but it's actually 4. And that way we don't have to keep addressing it. Yes, I'll be calling it Final Fantasy 4, but it is the same as Final Fantasy 2 on the Super Nintendo. And B, spoilers. This game's like 35 years old. You've had time. So consider this your warning. We're spoiling everything. Everything is on the table this week, all right? This was my very first RPG, baby's first RPG. So while it's got its warts, it's very near and dear to my heart. It's a game I've replayed half a dozen times. I don't know, is the main character Cecil or Cecil? I would have never even thought to call him Cecil until I watched Sideshow Bob. Brother from another series on The Simpsons. I'm going to call him Cecil. So you got Cecil, you got Kane, you got Rosa, you got Edge. They're all here. Even that Spoony Bard. I recently played through the Pixel Remaster version of Final Fantasy IV on my Xbox for the first time. So a portion of this episode will be dedicated to talking about our thoughts on the Pixel Remaster version of the game and the changes it's made as well. I recently saw a thread on the Remember the Game subreddit. Yes, we have one. You should join it. Look for Remember the Game on Reddit, where it was pointed out that lately I seem to spoil some of my thoughts on the game during this opening part of the show. And I realized, damn it, they're right. I have been doing that. So I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to shut the fuck up. You're just going to have to wait and see what I like and hate about this game. What I am willing to tell you that I like and hate is my guest this week, which is Captain N of the Retrotopia podcast. Good buddy. They just dropped episode 100 over there, so congrats, boys, on that. Cap is a bigger RPG nerd than I am, and, well, we both agree that Final Fantasy IV kicked a lot of ass back in the day, and there's some aspects of it that kind of get under our skin. A couple of things that I wouldn't say have not aged good, but it's just, it's an early RPG, and there are times when you can tell. So we had a great chat about it, a great chat about a great game, and of course, we shit all over Edward, the Spoony Bard, and we're going to get into all that in just a few minutes, because speaking of being spoony, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, if welcome to the podcast, new aboard. If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. And consider this your warning: our intros are a little long. They're not that long. They're a little long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff, and you won't run into a single random encounter while you're working through it. Not one. That's an Adam Blank guarantee. So fuck yeah. But if you do want to skip it, go to about the 30-minute mark, and you should be into Final Fantasy IV talk, and you're off to the races. Or check out our Patreon, where every Remember the Game in the history of Remember the Game, including the mysterious episode 2, is ad-free with timestamps. And then it'll tell you exactly what time to skip to. And then you'll be all like, fa la la, and life will be easier. Plus, you'll pay our bills. Because if you'll give me a moment, I have to do my plugs. It's how we keep the bills on. We do have a Patreon. It's pretty much the greatest deal in the history of the internet. Our subscription started just $3 a month, and we publish 4 additional shows each week, no ads. So if you sign up over there, you can get a new podcast every day, Monday through Friday. It's pretty awesomely outrageous. And not only do you get a bunch of new ad-free podcasts, plus, as I mentioned, Remember the Game ad-free, you can write into the show, maybe get read on the show, maybe not, but maybe. You can vote on the games that we cover. You can join our 1,000+ member Discord. You get instant access to hundreds upon hundreds of archived bonus podcasts the minute you sign up. And most importantly, you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm not going to do this week. I think I'm going to nail these ones. A huge thank you to our newest patrons, Robert Skit. I think it's Robert Scott without vowels, but I'm reading it as written. Robert Skit, Kelsey Sotelo, and Homebed Now. Thank you all for the support. I appreciate you so much, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/Remember the Game. And a quick note on the Patreon shoutouts. Beginning next week, I'm just moving the time I record the infamous intro. Nothing's going to change on all of your end. You're still going to get the shows on Wednesday. But we've had a lot of instances lately where it has been a photo finish. Like, I have been duct taping and chewing gumming the shows together 20-30 minutes before they go live. So I'm moving my own recording schedule around just to try to make things a little bit easier. So the Patreon shout outs now, maybe we're getting recorded on like Fridays. And so if you sign up on like a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then an episode drops on Wednesday and you don't get your shout out and you're like, that son of a bitch Blank, he's ignoring me with his one good eye and his excellent posture. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just recording them early. So I will get you the next applicable episode. I promise. Okay. Patreon.com/Remember the Game. It's how we pay our bills. $3 a month, get you tons of shows. There's some freebies over there if you want to check out those to see how it works. You can also get an annual subscription that'll save you your 12th month, and we donate 5% of it every fall to the Stollery Children's Hospital as part of our Extra Life charity stream, which, by the way, a lot of you have been asking me, Adam, when is your how do we what is it Adam Blank, what can we do to not waste our summer vacation? I'm sorry, I know I bring up that stupid Goofy movie line a lot, but I love that movie. A lot of you have been asking me, when is the Extra Life stream this year? When's your charity stream? I should have it. I'll have a date locked in for you. You know what? I'm writing it down in my day timer here right now. Extra Life date. I promise. Next week's episode, I will have a date for you. Locked and loaded. You'll know when the charity stream will be this year. For those of you that want to combine, hang out, and watch it, okay? There you go. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Hot Cheese Sauce, who says, "Hey, Adam, just wanted to say you're doing a fantastic job. I've had a shit week where I had to put my 7-year-old cat Sushi down. It was unexpected and absolutely heartbreaking. I had a few episodes of RTG to catch up on, so I listened to them while playing Hollow Knight to get ready for Silksong and help distract me, which it did. It helped put me in a better mood. So thank you again and keep up the good work. I'm very sorry to hear about Sushi." That's a sweet name. Sorry to hear about Sushi. Hot Cheese Sauce. You know, I'm a sucker for the pets, and you all know that. So hang in there, my friend, and let your heart heal. And when you're ready, there'll be another Sushi out there. I promise. Millie, we've had our new CEO for just over 2 weeks on Saturday, and the bathroom training has gotten better, and the chewing on my socks has gotten better, and a hole in our heart is filling. It's not patched yet, but it is filling. So hang in there, my friend. Hollow Knight. I don't know if Hollow Knight's a good therapy game. That game will make you fucking crazy, but it is a great game, as is Silksong, which, Silksong's so good. Devin C. said, "Hello, Adam. I hope you're doing well. I was just wondering, since you're a huge Mega Man fan, why the hell haven't you played the Mega Man Zero franchise? 2, 3, and 4 are absolutely peak Mega Man. I think you'll really enjoy them." I do get this question. I get this a lot. I get, why haven't you played the Battle Network games? Why haven't you played Mega Man and Base, and Zero, and all the other? I hear yous. I actually, truth be told, between me and you, Devin, don't tell anybody else this, I didn't know the Mega Man Zero franchise existed at one point. Keep in mind, as I've said many times, during the late 90s, early 2000s, I wasn't playing as much as I was, or as I do now, because I was out partying and I was legal drinking age and taking full advantage of it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still catching up on stuff. I will. I promise. I still want to get to the rest of the Mega Man Battle Networks. I still need to finish the X series after 3, even though I know people say they suck. And I do want to play some Mega Man Zero at some point. I think I even have them on my Steam Deck. I bought the collection. I just haven't started them yet. So I hear ya. They're on the way. Trust me. If there's a game with Mega Man in the title, it's probably on my short list to get an episode of the show at some point. Jesse Morin said, "Mr. Blank, what game do you envision being the next Minecraft / Fortnite / Tetris? The next game that will have absolutely everything playing and talking what? The next game that will have absolutely everything playing and talking about as it introduces or reinvents a way of playing that hasn't been done before. Not GTA, as kids should be playing that." Oh, I think you mean have everyone playing and talking about it. That's a great question. You know, I've thought about that. Like, I have a shit answer, but I like the question, Jesse, because I have thought that exact same thing. I don't know. And if I did know, I would be making it or investing in it and then question marks profits, and I'd be rich as fuck. And that'd be sick. But I don't know. It's so weird, right? Because Tetris, I still to this day think Tetris is the greatest video game of all time, just because it's like the most accessible. Anyone can figure out how to play it. It's not overwhelming. And then and I might be wrong. And if I am, don't yell at me because I'm not super up to date on my battle royales. But did Fortnite not take the basic formula from PUBG? Or did PUBG take it from Fortnite? I don't know. Either way, once the battle royale genre took off, it was like, oh, fuck, how did nobody ever think of this? I remember when Minecraft first came out and people were like, that looks like crap. That's dumb. And then it's like, wow, that's only the fucking biggest selling game of all time that's not named Tetris. So, somebody is out there. I've thought that so many times. Somebody is out there, and they're going to think of the next big thing, the next big game, the next big new genre, the next big phase or fad in gaming, and they're going to make fucking bank, but I don't know. And you know what? Someday when it comes out, somebody will listen to this episode and be like, hey, guys, here's what it is. But I've spent, frankly, more time than I should have in my life trying to come up with what the next big thing in gaming is, and I do not know. And before you write in and say it's VR, it is not. It is not. Maybe someday, but not yet. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Mike, as in Mike, said, "How perfect was the revisiting of the Paul Rudd Nintendo commercial for the Switch 2, bringing back the SNES nostalgia, and now the call to arms to the console wars with Sega revisiting their classic commercial for Sonic, making fun of Super Mario Kart with now the Sonic racing game making fun of Mario Kart World." Oh man, great stuff. I'm telling you all, great call, Mike. If you have not seen the Sonic the Sonic Racing Crossworlds commercial that calls back to the Sega making fun of, if you've not, so there's a classic commercial from the 90s where Sega's making fun of Nintendo and they're talking about blast processing and how badass the Genesis is, and the Super Nintendo and Super Mario Kart are like on this old white beat up van and they're slow moving and they're like making fun of them, and they've kind of recreated it, and they're basically taking shots at Mario Kart World and talking about if you just want to race in a straight line, go ahead, or you can play our game, and it is fucking awesome. It is such a sick commercial. I highly, highly recommend looking it up. And I've seen some people online be like, that's toxic. That's just Sega reigniting the console wars and all that. And no, it's not. Okay. The only people that think that commercial is toxic are you youngins that weren't around back when people could have different opinions and play on different systems and agree to disagree and be friends with each other. Because anyone that grew up in the 90s and grew up in the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era thinks that commercial is fucking awesome. That is a sweet fucking commercial. And shout out to Paul Rudd, because that guy will never age in a million years. Drives me crazy. Fucking guy looks younger than me, and I'm fucking way younger than him, and I look like a bag of shit. I wish I was Ant-Man. Rush's Dog Walker said, with Mega Man announced his DLC for Sonic Racing Crossworlds, will you be picking this one up will you be picking this up even if only to show the Blue Bomber support? So we were talking about this on Game Patch this week. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, they've announced that, or they've revealed maybe isn't the term, but whatever. Mega Man will be a downloadable character. There'll be a Mega Man DLC for the upcoming Sonic Racing Crossworlds that drops this week. I went from thinking that game looked cool, but being like, I can only handle one racing game, and I have Mario Kart World. I'm not going to be playing Sonic Racing Crossworlds. To getting Mario Kart World and playing it and thinking, this is, it's fine. I don't think Mario Kart World is a bad game, but it just doesn't hit like Mario Kart 8 did. Does it? Like, it's not the same. It's just, I don't know. I can't get it. I can't, I'm not addicted to it. And I need to be addicted to a racing game. And I love Crash Nitro Refueled or whatever, the modern Crash one from a few years ago. I fell in love with that. I got obsessed with that fucking game for a while. And I always want to have one like kart racer or cartoony racer on my roster, and I don't think Mario Kart World is it. So I went from thinking there's no way I'm buying Sonic Racing, they fucked up dropping that game shortly after Mario Kart World, to be like, Nintendo kind of fucked up. Mario Kart World's kind of boring. The long, boring tracks do suck, and I might be picking that one up. I don't think I'm going to be getting it this week when it drops, because I'm still trying to get through Silksong and Chronos The New Dawn. But yes, to answer your question in a very long way, yes, I do think I'm going to be picking up Sonic Racing, my first Sonic Racing game, at some point, because the roster looks rad, the game looks rad, and it looks like more fun than Mario Kart World. 10-year-old me would be rolling around. Well, he's not in his grave because I'm around, but 10-year-old me would be so upset to know that I'm like, I don't want to play Mario Kart. I want to play Sonic. That would rock my socks in 1993. But it's 2025. The times, they are a-changin'. Nintendo's legal team, said, Adam, have you ever considered that you have achieved the dream job of your listeners? When I was a kid in the 90s, I told people I wanted to be a game developer because I thought making video games would be the coolest job ever. I suppose that's because I never considered that playing video games could also be a job. I love listening to your pods, but it saddens me slightly that I work a regular job and will never have the time to play even half the games that you review. If I won the lottery, I might just choose to do what you do for a living and play video games as a 9 to 5. What I really want to say is congrats on achieving your dream. Thank you, Nintendo's legal team. And I didn't read that to blow smoke up my own ass with this length of hose. I read it because I just wanted to, like, I do bring it up on the show sometimes, but I just wanted to say that, like, I am aware. Like, I'm 41 and I had a regular job until I was 32, and I quit my job to make no money and try to be a comedian, and got lucky. And then 2 years into comedy, I decided to start Remember the Game just to see if I could make it work. And again, took a long time. I put a lot of work into this, not thinking it would ever pay off, and I got very, very lucky. I'm a very lucky person. And not a day goes by, I promise you. Sure, I have days where I get irritated, or I have days where I sound burned out, or there is the occasional day now after doing this for over 7 years where I'm like, I don't feel like doing this today. But by and large, I have considered that I've achieved the dream, and I'm so grateful to all of you. And I promise you, like, I never ever will take this for granted. I don't, and I never will. I'm very, very lucky. And I thank all of you for making it possible. Yes, I'm aware. And I'm very, it's funny that comes from Nintendo's legal team, who'll probably be the ones to end the show someday. But thank you. I am very fortuitous and very, very lucky. Pressing X said, Aloha Blanco from a devoted listener but an active commenter lately. What's your preference for a protagonist? Silenced or voiced? silent or voiced. I myself hate silent protagonists as it removes a lot of character from the person or thing that we're meant to be feeling connected to. I was tempted to add this as a spicy take this week, but I stand by the fact that Mario and Link are awful protagonists as they are somewhat missing a personality. I would love a voiced Mario from the movie to be in the games, and in my opinion, Wahoo and Let's-a Go do not count as being a voiced character. There's some legitimacy to your take there, Preston X. It's never been a huge pet peeve of mine, and that's not me defending Nintendo and their lack of voice acting, because I frankly do think over the last 5 or 6 years it's become absolutely asinine that I get if you want to keep Link silent or you want to keep Mario silent, but the lack of voice acting in other characters irritates me, and I think it's lazy, and I think it should be there. But for the main protagonist, I don't really mind. It depends, I guess, on the story. If it's got a deep story that I'm super into and there's twists and turns, then yeah, I want my character talking and reacting to people instead of just nodding his head and them answering him however he would respond or she would respond or whatever the fuck. But when it's a game like Mario or even Zelda where I don't feel the stories are ever that great or that, I'm not that invested in them, the silence doesn't really get to me. Because I'm like, oh man, I wish Mario could talk to be like, fucking Bowser's got her again for fuck's sakes. Or Link just be like, fuck, I hate Ganon. What a piece of shit. Navi, shut the fuck up. Can you imagine if Navi and that fucking owl had voice acting? Oh my God. Imagine listening to that owl story and then having to hear it all again. And I imagine the owl from Zelda talking like the guy from The Simpsons that gives him the tour of the box factory. The story of the Triforce is a long and interesting one. And here it is. It all began with the filing of Form 490. Other characters, yes, I want them voiced. But the protagonists, unless I'm super into the story, I don't really care. That's personal takes. Doesn't really bother me. Plus, I will say that sometimes when a character is voiced, like Commander Shepard in Mass Effect, for example, it's great that he's voiced, but I almost find that if I'm really involved in a game, there's something to be said for a silent protagonist, because if the protagonist talks and doesn't talk the way I talk, now I know it's not me. Whereas when they're not talking, I can pretend it's me. So, it doesn't bother me. Not too much anyway. Alexander Johnson said, will you ever do an episode about Mass Effect 1? Oh, speaking of Mass Effect. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. That was my personal favorite of the series. 1,000,000%. I don't always read these ones asking me, will you ever do an episode on, or have you ever played? But 1,000,000%. I get this question a lot. I know we've gone completely out of the order, and we've done Mass Effect 2 and then we have Mass Effect 3, but we haven't done Mass Effect 1. It's just going to come down to when I can find time to replay like the 50 hours of Mass Effect 1. But I guarantee you, unless I die or something happens to this show, you will get a Mass Effect 1 episode before it's done. I promise it. We got to finish the trilogy. Greatest trilogy. I would argue top to bottom, maybe the greatest trilogy in modern gaming history. So, yes, we will get it. I promise. And then before we move on, of course, it's letter time. It's letter time. Amanda Hugginkiss said, hey there, you spicy blank. Out of the thousands of times you've played any NES or SNES Mario game, what moment or event stands out to you as the best for Adam? Not for the world, but for you. My moment was over 10 years ago, and it wasn't one thing, it was 3 things at the same time. Playing Mario 3 on the NES, I was getting the Secret Mushroom House in World 3, watching Mushroom Houses in World 3, watching the Chicago Bears kick the shit out of the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs, and the best for last, my house was silent and my girl's head was in my lap. Best time of my life. I don't know if that's okay. I'm not sure if you mean like your little girl like sleeping, or if you mean like your girlfriend, and but either way, that is a good time. What is the all-time, out of the thousands of times you played NES or SNES Mario, what moment or event stands out as the best for Adam? For the Super Nintendo, I would say it would be the first time I found Bowser's Valley. Like when you go through the ghost ship and you get the question mark and then Bowser's head comes up and then you go in and that fucking awesome music is playing and Bowser's Castle has like the big flashing lights that say Bowser's, because you've seen them because you got through the pipe that puts you up on the cliff, but I hadn't actually been in Bowser's Valley before. So from the Super Nintendo, I would say that. But if I could skip ahead, being the old man that I am, even though I've been quite critical of the game at times, I think my most holy fuck moment in Mario history is the beginning of Mario 64. When you first come out of that pipe and Peach is talking to you, voiced per character, and you're running around, and it's just, I think that's probably it for me, because that was fucking mind-boggling to me. Blew me away. Oh, or on the NES, the first time you go into 4-1 and you see all the giant characters. It's pretty awesome. I know it's 3 answers, but it's my show. I can give as many fucking answers as I want. Fuck yeah, I do what I want. Thank you for writing in, Amanda Hug and Kiss. And thank you, everybody that wrote in as always. We need to keep the ball rolling, so let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hits segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. You know and I know. It's Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our Patreons not 1, not 2, but 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there is no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a minute. This week we're talking Final Fantasy IV, so I went with 3 of the greatest Final Fantasies, most popular Final Fantasies of all time: Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy IX, and Final Fantasy X. And it was close, but 33% of you, 1/3, said play Final Fantasy IX, remake Final Fantasy VI, and erase Final Fantasy X. Sidebar, does it ever bother anybody else that technically you can never have that third? Because it's always like 33.33333. Like, does it not? It's always bothered me. But anyways, the consensus is play Final Fantasy IX, remake 6, and erase 10. So let's see what some of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer is. Jedi Stacks said play Final Fantasy X, because I think from start to finish, it's an absolute masterpiece. It's my favorite game ever. I'd remake Final Fantasy VI, because I would absolutely love to see a 3D remake as long as it's turn-based. Plus, Kefka is one of the greatest villains of all time. He needs his moment to shine. And then erase Final Fantasy IX, as I don't have that sense of retro nostalgia and emotional attachment as I do with the other two. And nostalgia is a powerful drug. There really is no wrong answer this week. Like 6, 9, and 10 are all pretty good fucking games. So there really isn't a wrong answer. So I can respect that, Jedi Stacks. Get fucked 4 eyes. Says you motherfucker. I mean, what diseased fucked up mind would even come up with this? I would play 6 since it's the only one I haven't finished. I'd remake 9 in that oh so beautiful Octopath style and then delete 10 because I have to, or be damned with double secret probation, even though I will probably get one for not finishing 6. It's so funny you said that. I did not know that was in your comment. I was on the verge of interrupting your comment and being like, double secret probation, go finish Final Fantasy 6. So yeah, you are on double secret. I will say though, an Octopath version of Final Fantasy 9, that gets my nipples hard. That's kind of sick. Condi85 said, no easy choices here. I'll remake 6 as I'd love to see Kefka in a AAA game as a fully voice-acted villain. Play Final Fantasy 9 as I only played a bit of it when I borrowed the game from a neighbor back in the day and I plan to go back to it. And then erase Final Fantasy 10. It's a great game and I hate to erase it, but them's the rules. Unlike 9, I completed 10 when it came out, so I've experienced the whole thing. And unlike 6, I've already seen the characters voiced and acted, so there's less new to see from a remake. That is shockingly sound logic from a listener of my podcast, Condi. Well done. Well done. Gold star. Gold star. Fuck it. I'll give you the whole thing. Blaine the Hoagie Man said, this is actually easy for me. I'll play 9 since it's my all-time favorite game and I can enjoy it anytime. I'll remake 10, and the only thing I'll change is make Titus care about his plot twist. And then I'll erase 6, because even though Kefka destroys the planet, he rests on his accomplishments and just sits in his tower playing with his crown wiener and doesn't decide to further kill until the party decides to fight him again. Yeah, he uses the light of judgment, but he can't hit shit with it, and if you spend time getting all the best stuff, he becomes a puny god. So now it's time to watch the Final Fantasy world burn. That's sound logic too. Titus is kind of a bitch. Kind of is. I like Final Fantasy X. Don't love Titus. Like 10, don't love Titus. I also, that Kamari or whatever his name is, that blue wolf guy sucks. Fair enough. And the Boa said, play 6 because I've played it too many times to count and I never get tired of it. Remake 9 to cut down on the load times and just make it prettier. And then erase 10. Good story, fun game, but the other two are better. And if we use the butterfly effect, I also don't care about anything after it anyways. That's logical as fuck. If you're like, man, I don't care about a Final Fantasy after 10, so if erasing that kills the series forever, then I'll sleep well at night. I can respect. I don't know if I agree, but I respect that very much. Well done. I'm actually going with the majority this week. I'm going with 1/3 minus 0.000000. So you can never add the 1 because it's 33.3333. It goes forever. But I'm going the majority of you this week, 33%. As did Fondle Me Softly, who said, "You're definitely putting us in a pickle with this one. I'll I'll start out by playing Final Fantasy IX since I've done quite a few times in my lifetime, no biggie. Remake Final Fantasy VI since I've never actually gotten to experience it. A full-blown remake could catch me up to speed on how evil this clown dude is. And then erase Final Fantasy X since I've played it so many times and I'm not trying to do that lightning crap ever again. There's just too many struggles in 10 that isn't worth all the hours consumed by it. Also, I'm not your friend, guy. South Park reference. Well done. I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy. Well done. Shout out to South Park. I love that show. Same order for me, different reasoning. I'm going to play Final Fantasy IX because I've only ever played through the whole game once, and in my opinion, it's best in class. I think, objectively, it's the best Final Fantasy that I've played. I'm going to remake Final Fantasy VI, and I want to go full-blown Final Fantasy VII remake 3D action combat that works. I know some people like turn-based, no problem there, but I want to go full-blown and see what happens if we go balls to the wall with the combat. And then I'm going to race Final Fantasy X. I don't think it's bad. It is my least favorite of the three. If you pick 3 games, you've got to have a least favorite, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's fine, but I never need to play it again. Plus, I hate that fucking lightning part too. I agree. So that's my order. Yeah, play 9, remake 6, erase 10. Thank you, everybody that wrote in and played along as always. What have I been playing over the last 7 days? A lot, because I'm trying to finish like 14 games in a month and a half here. Fire Emblem for the GBA. I finished it on the weekend. Done. Credits rolled. Fucking done. We're reviewing that next week. A lot to say about that one. I'm playing Hollow Knight Silk Song. Not bad. It's pretty fucking good. I'm playing Chronos: The New Dawn. Shout out to Chronos: The New Dawn. If you like horror games, it is tough. And there's no difficulty settings, but I'm getting into it. I haven't had a ton of time with it, but it is good. I'm all the way in on GTA 5 now, getting ready for our Remember the Game 350. I have 2 weeks to finish that fucking game. So that's going to be a majority of my next 2 weeks. And then I've been playing, like, I don't know, just odds and ends. Like, I've been playing a little bit of Mega Man. I've been playing a little bit of Mario Kart World. Just while I was watching wrestling on Saturday and I needed like brain dead games to play. I've been playing lots of games lately. So that's it. Okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pause. I'm going to let a sponsor in. They're going to do their thing. And when we get back, look at that, almost right at 30 minutes. When we get back, it's Final Fantasy IV from here until my Patreon shoutouts, okay? We'll be right back after this. All right, let's get into some Final Fantasy IV talk. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the guest or on the game we're covering. You can sound off on my guest if you want. Sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. And believe it or not, no shortage of comments on a Final Fantasy game. Who would have thunk it? So let's see what some of you had to say. The big deal said, I'm not an RPG person by any means, but I found this game to be very welcoming and beginner friendly. I really enjoyed the story and cast of characters and would go on to fall even more in love with Final Fantasy VI as a result. I've said it before, but I think this is where you start. I think I said on this episode, so I don't mean to spoil that, but if someone's like, I've never played Final Fantasy, where do I start? This is the one. 6 is a more complicated version of this, and then 7 shit starts to get crazy. And 1 is just too slow. This is where you start. McCracken said, such a fun game. Back when Final Fantasy had deep stories and fun characters. It does have, like, actually it's got both. Like, I mean, again, 6 does it better. It's got both. It does have some fun characters and deep stories. Palom and Porum are goats, as is Edge, but Palom and Porum are fucking legends. Chris Sticks said, Lally Ho, great game with awesome character development. The PSP version, the complete collection, is a definitive way to play it by far. Check it out, wieners. Is it though? The Pixel Remaster is pretty good. I bet you the PSP one's got the after years, eh? That game, that's, whoo, PU. With the less said about that thing, the fucking better. I've never played the PSP. I know. I've never played one. I'm going to have to try one at some point. Gilded Jackal said, simpler times of Final Fantasy. Knights, magic, monsters, and spoony bards. This is the most by-the-numbers plot of an RPG I can remember, but damn it if it doesn't have charm. Yeah, it is. I agree. I think part of what makes Final Fantasy IV special is that it kind of, like, it walked so 6 could run. You know, I can't imagine anyone disagreeing with me on that, right? Like, 6 does everything 4 does better. And 6 is like that game everyone talks about. But without 4, you don't get to 6. And then, like, at 5 has no plot. 5's plot's garbage, but the job system is fucking insane. I Am Air said, phenomenal game. You go to the moon via a space whale, and the best character can't make up his mind about being a traitorous bastard or not. This game made paladins and summoners actually cool. Dragoons are the best, and you can't argue with facts. It's true. Sid from Final Fantasy VII is the best character in that game, and he's the closest thing they have to a fucking dragoon. And Kain is pretty awesome in this fucking game. He's a moody bitch, but he is pretty awesome. And he's the only way I beat that final boss, as you'll hear on the show. And Rose636 says the UK didn't get Final Fantasy games until 7, so I didn't play 4 until I was a young adult. I can appreciate what this did for the series and genre, but seeing that 5 had the job system and 6 had a good story, this one is hard to go back to, as I'd much rather play either of the other SNES Final Fantasy games. See, it's funny because we never got 5 on the SNES, so I don't look at it as an SNES game. But the thing about 4 is, like, I do love it, and I have nostalgia for it, but I do agree. 5 does the customization and jobs better. 6 is better story. It's just 4 was, like, opened the door for them. But if you've played 5 and 6 and haven't played 4, 4 could be a little tough to go back to. I could hear that. And then Eric Scheip is going to wrap us up by saying, I'm just here for the Spoony Bard comments. You've already gotten some. You're about to get some more. Everybody, grab your spoons, grab your harps, settle in, because Captain N and I are talking Final Fantasy IV. I am going to cue up some music. And when it stops, we're going back to November 23rd, 1991, and talking Final Fantasy IV/Final Fantasy II, originally released on North America on the Super Nintendo. You know how it works. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Let's go. All right, joining me via the blank phone on a wonderful Wednesday to talk about a wonderful game is an adequate guest, and that is my buddy Captain N, the Spoony Bard of gaming podcast hosts.
Thank you for bumping me up to adequate. I feel like I'm actually starting to make waves in your podcast sphere.
You're rocking the boat, and I'm sorry, I should not have called you Edward. Dude. I was talking to my brother on the weekend because we both grew up loving Final Fantasy. I guess you know what? For the sake of the show, we're just gonna call it 4 all day. But in my head, it'll always be 2 because the Super Nintendo, it'll always be 2. We both love this game. This was both of our first RPGs. Is Edward? I'll ask you this. I haven't played every Final Fantasy, but I've played quite a few. Is Edward the most useless character? Like, he's pretty shitty.
Yes, I just went through the Pixel Remasters, like all 6 of them, and I'm trying to think of anybody like in every other game, and I can't think of anybody I hate more than Edward in Final Fantasy.
He literally does nothing other than, like, he saves you from that fucking elf.
Yeah, and I bet you, like, when he was, trying to have sex with that girl that he was pining over, I bet you he just sat in a chair in the corner and let one of the guards do it.
100%. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Your kink is your kink.
Yeah, but it's, Edward. He's the worst. Yeah. He played the harp for them. Well, they fucking played them a song. God. Well, buddy, how's it going, man? How's life?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. Back at school, back doing all that fun stuff that you used to hate when you were a kid, but some reason is fun when you're an adult. Not much. Summer's over. I guess I'm kind of winding down from not being able to go outside because it was like 112 billion degrees out there all summer. Our lawn is dead, and I couldn't walk a dog because she's a husky, and she would walk outside and just turn around and come back in the house.
Yeah. It was a hot summer. It feels like it was a hot summer everywhere. It's fucking, I don't know. It's almost as if the earth is warming.
No, there's still ice in the North Pole.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we're good.
The earth can't be warming. There's ice in my whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, fuck. You know what? Give it 3 more months, and then it'll be mid-December in northern Alberta, and I'll be like, fuck, I could use some of that global warming right fucking now. So
yeah, right? It's just dump a fucking pile of snow here, and then that's it. I'm going to be pissed.
And then it sucks. Final Fantasy IV, Revisited. This is, I've said before, maybe not my favorite RPG of all time, but it's pretty close. Very first RPG I ever played. My buddy Robbie owned it on the Super Nintendo and showed it to me, and I was like, "And what is this?" And then he lent it to me, and I was obsessed with this game as a child. Every day I'd write down every member of my party stats and bring them to school and show them to my buddy, and it was like the craziest thing. And it's funny because in my older age, I've kind of grown, I could take or leave JRPGs because I do find them a little bit tedious and a little bit boring at times. And Final Fantasy IV definitely has that to it, but for some, I guess nostalgia carries it a long way, and I've always had a loving for this game. You said you played through. Did you play through all 6 of the Pixel remasters?
Yeah, I started with 4 in May because we did it for our show there, and then thought, I bought all 6, I might as well play all 6, so I started going through them, and I just finished 5 last week.
Jesus, would you mind? If I'm spoiling something from you or your show or whatever? Tell me to shut the fuck up. Would you rank those 6 best to worst? What do you think?
I actually did an entire Final Fantasy ranking episode on our show,
Okay,
and
don't give away your episode.
No, I mean, it's a great episode. Go check it out because it goes through all 16. But if I had to rank my top 3, it would be 6, 9, and 4, and that's 1A, 1B, 1C, depending on how I feel on any given day.
Yeah. Same here. Same 3. I think of those 3, I do think 4 is the weakest. Isn't maybe the word I'm looking for, but I mean, 9 is obviously it's a different era, different generation of gaming and all that. And 6 just takes 4 and explodes, bigger party, bigger game, more optional characters, all that kind of stuff. But aside from my nostalgia, I feel 4 is among the most underrated games in the series. Because I think when people think of Super Nintendo Final Fantasies, they think of 6. And deservedly so, because it is the better game. But when you go from because I've never played Final Fantasy 2 or 3, like the original 2 or 3, but I have played Final Fantasy 1. And if you go from the original Final Fantasy 1 to Final Fantasy 2 on the Super Nintendo, dude, the leap from one game to another is unbelievable. Like, 4 is where the series really found its mark, in my opinion, found its stride.
Yeah, and having just gone through 1, 2, 3, then 4, it's amazing the steps they took to get to 4, because they went to 2 where your weapons and your armor were how you leveled up. Then they went to 3 where they introduced the job system, and then they kind of reverted back to the very linear, very story-based Final Fantasy, and yet somehow it worked near perfectly. It was just you got all your not your jobs, but your jobs, sorry. So you got all your jobs already baked into the characters, and it's just you're telling a story about redemption for this Black Knight, and you don't need all the extra stuff. You're just there along for the ride, and I think that's why it works so well, and that's why some people prefer it over 6, is because 6 is very too many stories at one set sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really like Final Fantasy 6. Like, make no mistake, top 3 for me. But that's one of the things I love about Final Fantasy 4 is the linearity. And I've had this debate with numerous people. I've talked to a lot of people about it. I personally prefer that linearity. I love that I never have to choose who's in my party in Final Fantasy 4. Like you're constantly gaining and losing party members, but you're just playing it out as the game tells you. Like, you don't even have control about when. I mean, you've got a little bit of control about when some people leave your party, because especially as you unlock different airships, you can fart around and explore a little bit. Not that there's a ton of side content. There's a little, but not a ton. But
I think there's only like 1 or 2 side quests to do. Yeah,
like you can go and get like a better sword, some better armor. You can get a few summons. Like, it's not a ton. I love that linearity, because the 2 major criticisms I have of classic JRPGs are I find them a kind of boring in battles sometimes, which we'll get into because this one still kind of can suffer from that. And then I hate when I get to a town and I have to go through every member of my party. What do you guys need for equipment? What equipment can I afford? Who can use this sword? And like Final Fantasy 6, bless it, like when you go into a fucking new store or a new town, you might have like 15 characters lined up at the bottom, and like 7 of them are raising their hands, and I'm like, I can only afford 3 of these fucking swords. So which 3 of you need it the most?
And it's back grinding. Like I'm the type of guy who leaves the town and I grind until I can equip everybody, and then I finally carry on with the quest. I mean, the world's falling apart there, and I'm out, beating rats in the woods just so I can go get another sword. And no, this game is really good for that, because like you. Once you get your final party, from there, you're pretty much loaded up, and then you're doing the final dungeon, and that's where you're getting the, I guess, ultimate weapons, if you want to call them that. But throughout the game, it's, what type of weapons you're going to get where, and it is kind of a nice thing not having to equip 16 characters or 15 characters, like you said. simply because it is a kind of a slog to sit there and grind in this game sometimes. Because the battle system in Final Fantasy can get tedious over time, but no, I don't even have anything to back that up. It can get really tedious.
It can. That's where these games lose me. Because, like, listen, there is no genre that I get more requests for episodes on than RPGs. There isn't one. Because I know everybody loves them, and I get it. But, like, they're very long, and I just get bored. Even Final Fantasy IV. This is one of my favorite games of all time. And it's just, like, when you're going through a fucking... Oh, my God. Even, like, going through the last area of the game, the final like dungeon where all those great weapons are and stuff, and the fucking slog of like 10 steps, fight a behemoth, 10 steps. And it's nice at first because at least when you're doing it in like a harder fights, the fights actually like you have to pay attention a little bit. Like you can't just sit there and mash attack and win. Whereas like for 2/3 of the game, that's all you really have to do. Like a fight queues up,
I was going to bring that up. It's just literally the Pixel Remaster lets you hit the square button. You do kind of go into auto battle where everybody uses their last selected option. Yeah. And I would just attack, hit square, throw the controller on the couch, pick up my phone, scroll through Twitter or whatever. Then when the fight was over, pick up the controller and carry on. And that's how tedious these fights can get. And I do believe the Pixel Remaster has done kind of a lot to address that you don't have to really focus on the fights as much. But one thing that I don't like about this game is a good RPG levels you as you progress so that you're always ready for the next challenge. I find this game sometimes levels you a little bit too slow. So when you get to the next part there, you have to spend some time grinding again, which again, I'm doing it anyways to get all my equipment and stuff. But it just kind of slows the flow of the game down just a touch.
I did find that. I find that as well. Cause like, I know this game inside and out now. So like, I know, and again, I'll have said during the intro, spoilers are happening. So I don't care. We can spoil whatever the fuck we want. It's fine. Like I know when I get back to Baron that I'm about to lose, Palom and Porum, like I know when, we're down underground and Sid catches us in the airship that he's about to, jump off the ship and I'm not going to have him like I know when those losses are coming. So I don't worry too much about them near the end because I know I'm about to lose them. But you are right. And I do find there are a few points in this game where you do find yourself under-leveled. And I make it a point that unless I have to, or unless it's one of those, like if I'm in one of those fights, I guess those fucking blobs that are only weak to magic and I don't have any magic left, I'm running. Because I'm like, I'm not wasting one of my precious ethers to get enough magic to kill you.
Are you the same way when it comes to RPGs that you hoard items that you could otherwise just use?
Horrible.
This game turned me into a hoarder. I shit you not, I don't throw anything out because I might need that elixir someday, but that elixir in my real life is just a box of wires in the basement.
And what's really funny about, because I'm the same way. I will literally be in like the final boss fight of a game. And it's like, if ever there was a time to use your elixirs, it's now. And I'm just but he might have another form. And I've only got 6.
Can't use them.
Yeah, and it's like, boss, you have 6. You have 5 party members. You can heal everyone once and still have one. Use your elixirs. I'm brutal for that. It's funny you bring that up, the hoarding items and not getting rid of stuff. Because one thing I've started doing recently with my playthroughs of classic games is I whenever I go into like a store, I sell the items I know I'm never going to use. You pick up those fucking items that are like, using this is the same as casting fire. I'm just like, well, I'm never going to use that. So I'll sell it for the $6. I don't give a fuck. I played the Pixel Remaster of this for the first time. And that's something I want to spend a little time on because we've already reviewed Final Fantasy IV once. This is a revisited. And I do want to give the whole game justice again. But I'd never played the Pixel Remaster prior to now. So I want to weigh in on some of the changes they made. But I was playing through this new version and selling off all the items that I'll never use. And there's no real reason to. If your inventory fills up, I've never come across it.
No, I don't think it does.
You only can carry 99 of something, but I think you can, if you can't carry infinite somethings, I don't know how many things you can carry. I've never run into an issue with that.
Yeah, never bumped into that issue either. The only thing I keep is swords, so Edge can throw them later on.
Yeah, so Edge can toss them. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So so this time I just decided to do something different, clean up my inventory. I'm selling all those crappy, like, oh, this is the same as casting fire. This is the same as casting pig, like that kind of shit. I sold all of those. And one of the things I sold was all of my spider silk, which is like it's cast slow on an opponent. I don't know about you, but like I've probably beaten this game 4 or 5 times on the Super Nintendo version. And I've never found the end boss particularly difficult. Like it's, he's there and he takes a lot of damage and he does a lot of damage, but you're pretty leveled up at that point. Just keep your guys healthy and you're fine. For some reason,
the first time I beat this game, I only beat the final boss with Kane on his final jump when the rest of the party was dead. If I didn't kill him at that point, it would have been game over because Kane was just like near death. But he's a lot harder in the Pixel Remaster, I find.
Dude, and it's funny because I found most of the Pixel Remaster easier than the original game.
Yeah, right?
Like, but then that boss, I had to grind for like 2 hours to get strong enough to beat that final boss. And I finally, I looked up a guide and I'm like, I don't remember this guy being that hard. And it does seem the consensus online is that he's tougher in the Pixel Remaster. And everyone everyone online is like, use a spider silk on him because it'll slow his ass down and then he can't pepper you. And then I realized I sold my spider silks. And so I was like,
now
fuck.
You're going back to being a hoarder.
Oh man, this is what I get for going off the fucking reserve one time and selling my shit. It fucked me over so hard. So I'm going back to my tried and true formula of just keeping everything now. And it was the same thing. Having Kane jump at that final boss is what saves you because they can't hit him. Kane's not my favorite character in this game, but Kane is the MVP of this game.
Oh yeah, without him, there's like half the bosses I would have died on when I was 100%. Young. Anyways, nowadays, like you said, it's just too simple. But I kind of wonder if the Pixel Master does the original Final Fantasy IV as opposed to the Super Nintendo one, which is kind of like a dumbed down North American version.
Yeah,
so maybe that's why the boss is a lot harder. We're getting finally, respected by the Japanese to be gamers as opposed to getting Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Yeah. It's so funny, eh? Like how they just look at us and they're like, man, those guys, North Americans are so dumb. And we kind of are, but it's still though. Yeah. It's so odd. It's okay. So it wasn't just me. That final boss just fucking destroyed me. I don't know why. Because everything else in the game, like, I don't think I game over it again in the game. And playing the Super Nintendo.
I gamed over.
What's that?
I gamed over in that stupid metal cave because I forgot that you had to talk to stupid Edward first.
Oh no. So did you go all the way to the Dark Elf?
I got all the way to the Dark Elf. I powered my way through it, and then I got to the Dark Elf there, and of course he did the thing where he kills you right away with the thing. I'm like, what the fuck am I missing? And I ended up I didn't go to that castle there, and I found stupid Edward lying in stupid bed, and I'm like,
I didn't know. I truthfully didn't know you could go in there without because I've never done that. I didn't know you could go in there without Edward backing you up. That's
you
funny.
Just got to equip all the wooden stuff.
Yeah. That's funny. I don't remember dying at all in this one. Oh no, that's not true. You know who did kill me in this one was Bahamut the first time I fought him. When I was trying to unlock that summon.
Oh right. Yeah, he was pretty good.
Because he throws Mega Flare at you and that thing can fuck you up. And then in the original game, and I was preparing for it in this one, but then I found it very easy in the Pixel Remaster. You know what's tough in the original for me is when you have to go into the sealed cave to get the those like Viking gnome guys' crystal, and you have to fight that wall that's like closing in on you.
Oh, the wall! Fuck
that wall on the SNES version has wrecked me.
That wall used to be like the toughest boss in the game outside of like the final boss. And I remember that wall intimately. And then I was like, before I got to that fight there, I was like gearing up. Everybody was healed. And then I just knocked the wall down like in, I don't know, maybe 10 hits. It was, it almost felt nerfed.
It did. Cause I found that as well. I hate that cave as a whole. And playing through it on the remaster, I was like, this was very easy. Like that was, I found the whole game very easy.
But you know to use float in the self cave and the sealed cave, right? So the floor doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know somebody's going to be listening to this, and I just want them to know that everybody knows to use float in those caves except for you.
Yeah. My buddy Rob, Rob taught me that when I was a kid. Because I literally don't use float anywhere else in the game.
No, It's
But
like one of the most useless spells outside of not burning in Final Fantasy V or not blowing up in Final Fantasy IV.
yeah, but boy, is it ever useful in those fucking caves. I know we're kind of all over the map here, but like I said, it's the second time we've talked about this game. I more want to get into a little bit of the intricacies. I will say, like, replaying it, I didn't even intend to replay it for the show. Like, I did want to do a remastered episode, but I was like, I know this game like the back of my hand. I don't need to play it again. And then one night I was just it's very rare that I sit down and just play a game for myself for fun these days. Like, everything I play is for a podcast, one or the other. But I started playing the Pixel Remaster of this, and I was like, God, I love this game. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to finish my playthrough of it, and playing through it for the first time in a few years. Like, everything about it still stands. Like, I truly think, especially compared to Final Fantasy 1, like, it does tell a great story. I like that you meet all these different characters. I think considering all you've got to learn about these characters are their dialogue balloons and then their little pixel art things, like, they really do a great job of establishing practically every character's personality. They establish like the rivals and the friends between your team and all that kind of stuff. And aside from Edward, there's really not a party member in this game that, like, I don't get excited to come across and get into my team. And I think maybe that's part of why I love this game so much. I just feel like every character feels like a big deal, you know?
Yeah, but every RPG has to have the mallow.
Everyone.
And that's what Edward is in this game. I got a question for you. When you started playing the game again, did it feel like everything was happening a lot faster than you remember? Because every time I start this game, I'm all of a sudden on the mountain turning Cecil into a paladin.
Yes.
And it just feels like that was a much longer journey. And it's just like it takes zero amount of time. I'm like, I felt like this was later in the game.
It almost, you know, it's funny. They say that when you get older, like in life, it feels like time goes faster because every day just kind of blends into each other, because most adults have a routine. They go to work, they come home, and it's the same thing. Whereas, like, when you're a kid, you're a teenager, you're always experiencing new things. So it feels like those years take longer to go through because they're also full of new adventures and stuff like that. And maybe that's what it is with this, because I did find, even, dude, replaying it, it took me less than 20 hours to beat this game. And as a kid, I remember this feeling like the most epic thing I'd ever done.
Yeah.
It just felt like I played it for 6 years. And then it was like, you're right. You're a paladin in like 3 hours. You're in the Village of the Mist in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. It
like,
just, God.
It was crazy.
I don't know why every time, like, without fail, I don't know why it feels like it's going to take me much longer to get to these major story plots, but I always feel like a slight bit of disappointment. Like, I feel like the game doesn't have that same impact as when I was a kid, just for the reasons you explained, right?
Yeah. Well, and like, when you're new to this game, you are exploring, dude, like the freedom. I know this is going to sound dumb, but the first time, this was my very first airship, because this is my first RPG. So this is my first ever airship. The first time you get your hands on an airship in Final Fantasy IV and you can explore that overworld, even if you can't land on everything, it is like getting your first car as a teenager. And you're like, the world is mine. And remember that on the Super Nintendo version, you didn't have a sweet map in the fucking corner helping you find everything.
You had to fly around. No, I think I had a Nintendo Power laid out with the map in it.
Yeah. Like, I would literally just fly around and just find these, like, maybe that's what I would find, like a tiny island with nothing but grass. And be like, I gotta land
on it. Yeah. And you go like, there's got to be a secret here, maybe. Then you fly to the next island. And you're like, what's this one? It's just like enemies. So you're expecting something, but no, I did the same thing. I've touched down on every piece of landable land in Final Fantasy IV, looking for something special that wasn't there.
100%. And you know what's really ironic about that is that one of my turnoffs about RPGs now is that I'm like, I'll never find everything. I'm like, so I gotta fucking, like, dude, explain to somebody that's never played an RPG how to get Knights of the Round in Final Fantasy VII. Like,
Jesus.
And you're just like, it might be easier to put a man on the moon than it is to fucking get your hands on Knights of the Round.
I don't even think I remember how to get Knights of the Round anymore.
Oh, it's stupid.
Like, I know it's a lot of chocobo raising. You got to go get find the chocobos in the northern continent. Then you got to raise them, then feed them, then breed them, and you finally eventually get the gold chocobo.
Whereas like in Final Fantasy IV, it's just like, you can fly, like, but it just felt like such a grand adventure. And you know, one of the things, because you're right, it's fast. But one of the things I found very satisfying about this last replay I just did was, like I said, I beat the game in about 20 hours, and I pretty much got everything, I think. And I was like, you know what? That's a nice
good number.
size RPG.
Yeah.
You
And when
know,
I say it's fast, I'm just saying I remember it being longer. But no, I actually enjoy the fact that there's not a lot of downtime between the story beats. I really dislike role playing games that make you walk from point A to point B, and it's like a 20-minute adventure just to do that with random battles along the way.
yeah. Yeah, agreed, 100%. And that's one of the things, like, again, I really like Final Fantasy 6, but like Final Fantasy 4 to me is comfort food, not only because I know it well, but like I love the linearity. I don't have to decide who's going to be in my party, who do I level up, who do I leave behind, all that kind of stuff. It's going to tell me where to go, and I'm just going to do it. It's almost like Final Fantasy 4 is like painting by numbers.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Now, the biggest problem I have with Final Fantasy IV, and the reason it probably never stay at the top of my my list, or never actually like climb the summit to number one, is nobody really dies in this game permanently except for Tella.
Which is,
Yang
right.
dies. Yeah, Yang dies, and then he comes back in a tank, and then Palam and Param had like this epic, self-sacrifice death, and then they're there at the end. It's like, yeah, somebody just cast, cure on us, and it's like, why?
Yeah,
Like,
agreed.
The weight of it is all taken away.
I truly, in my heart, keeping in mind that I haven't played every Final Fantasy, I truly, in my heart, feel Palam and Poram's death is maybe the greatest in Final Fantasy. Outside of, obviously, there's 1 in 7 that gets people talking, but
I would actually call it better than the 1 in 7, except for they come back to life at the end of the game because somebody, well, like Tella, the greatest mage on the planet, the guy who's looking for the mythical meteor, couldn't, petrify these two, but the old wise man at Mysidia there was able to do it. Like,
yeah,
get the
agreed.
fuck out of town.
Agreed.
You just ruined the entire sacrifice.
Agreed. And I know it sounds stupid. I guess at this point, like if you're listening to this and you've never played the game, you're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? At one point, you get these two kids. They're kids, Palam and Poram. They're these twins, a boy and a girl. One's a black mage, one's a white mage. And initially they're like spying on you, and then eventually they're just like, no, this guy's cool, and we're gonna be on his team and help him. And you're like, and they're fucking awesome. Like the characters are written so charming. I love the music that plays whenever they've got one of their little scenes. At that point in the game, unleashing their twin attack is like the most powerful attack you've had access to. Like they're beasts. And then these two children selflessly sacrifice their lives to keep you alive, to save the world. And you're right, Tella, who is like, when they meet Tella, they're like, oh my God, you're the great almighty Tella. And that old fart can't help them. So you're thinking like, even dude, later in the game, when you go back to Baron Castle, you go through that hallway and their two statues are there holding the walls. And it it gives you the option to use items on them.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never actually tried.
Yeah, it's like, and like nothing helps, but it's like it's teasing you. And it's like that is so that sad music that plays, and you're playing as these 4 grown men, and these 2 children just gave their lives to keep you alive, to save the world. And that's like the most heroic thing ever. And then you're right. I know it sounds fucked up, but at the end of the game when they're back, part of you is like when I saw the part of me is like, hey, I'm glad you guys are okay. But there is a big part of me that's just like, what the fuck is that? Like, what kind of pussy ass move is this?
But it keeps happening. Like, what's his name? Sid jumps down the giant hole with a bomb strapped to his chest, and then he's back.
Yeah, he's fine. Yang locks himself in a fucking room that like explodes, and you hear him scream, and then he's fine.
Yeah, Radia gets sucked down into the pits by Leviathan. Well, that one was kind of different. Edward lives, which is a problem with this game.
Yeah, why not kill Edward? Fuck.
Yeah, right?
Like, the only one that dies is Tella. And Tella's fuck, because Tella's an old man. Like, and his death is great. And that's another thing I do like about this game. While I agree with you that the fact that practically everybody comes to life is kind of weak sauce and kind of takes away the sting of it, most of the deaths are actually, it's not like I know we're being super vague and everyone knows who dies in Final Fantasy VII, but I said in the intro there were spoilers for Final Fantasy IV, not Final Fantasy VII. So I'm going to be fair. The death that happens in Final Fantasy VII has a purpose and there's a story behind it and everything
Yeah.
like that. But in this one, in Final Fantasy IV, it's just that these characters are constantly sacrificing themselves for the greater good or to try to save the world. Like Tella throws his life away to avenge his daughter and cast that spell. Sid jumps off of that fucking airship and blows everything up to try to save them and gives his own life. Yang pushes them out of the tower and blows himself up to save his life. Palom and Porom turn into stone to save those guys and give his life. Like, it's every death that's in this game, considering it's this stupid 16-bit game with these tiny little pixels and this chiptune music, every time it happens, this sad music plays and you see the characters all lower their heads for a second. And it really, it's in my, maybe I'm just a fanboy, but I think it's quite remarkable writing. Like, there's not a death in here that feels like a waste.
It's really good writing. It just gets ruined by the fact that they come back and not logically come back. I mean, like I said, Sid straps a bomb to his chest and jumps down a hole. And depending on how long you take to read, that hole gets deeper and deeper.
Oh, he keeps going. Yeah. Yeah.
And, so
he's going to hell.
Hey, you're not coming back from blowing yourself up. Like that just kind of took away the weight of that whole scene there for me. Like, I love the story. Like, don't get me wrong. I am complaining about like something that is absolutely not worth anything to me, but I just find it kind of weak sauce that they brought these characters back, like especially if you play other Final Fantasy games and characters die, and in these other games they'll come back as spirits or ghosts to help you, which is fine because ghosts exist in Final Fantasy, but to have these characters come back to life is just, I think it's disingenuous to the writing of the story, and it just feels like it's an insult to these characters' sacrifices.
Yeah, I agree. It's just kind of a lame way to wrap it all up. Even if they, and it's fun. I know I'm talking about both sides of my mouth because I was talking about how I prefer the linearity and that kind of stuff. Even if they had done something where if you did some things in the game, then some people would be alive again at the end. Instead of just being like, they're all alive. Everything's like, la 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 la. But, because they even show up when you're fighting the last boss there. Like, they're even, like, he kills you and then they all show up and like pray for you and bring you back to life. And it's like, it could have easily have just been their spirits. And then it's like, no,
exactly.
And
anyway, that's even where like Palom and Porom there actually explain how they were unpetrified. And it's just like, well, this is like explaining the joke. It just ruins it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, here, tell you what, let me sell out here for a second. Let me let a sponsor in here to do their thing. And then when we get back, I want to talk about some of the good and bad dungeons and the good and bad characters, and we'll give us a minute. We got lots to do. So just my one other major negative is, I've said it 100 times, I detest that fucking dark elf cave where you can't use metal items. Yeah. It is my least favorite part of the game every time. I hate that you have to put on the wooden stuff, dumb down your characters just to do this level. And when you get to the dark elf properly, you still have to equip your swords and stuff, and you're still left with weaker armor on every character. Again, if by chance if you've not played it, there's this fucking boss you have to fight, and he's weak to metal. And so he's got a spell or whatever the fuck on his cave where anyone with a metal weapon, every time anything metal equipped, every time you go into a battle, it's like they're paralyzed and they're just useless. You have to take their shit off. And you have 4 members of your team, and you've got Yang, who is pretty good because he doesn't really have any metal and his weapons are claws and they're fine. Sid isn't too bad as long as you give him a wooden hammer. Tella's got magic, so that's okay. But your main character, Cecil, is just a useless sack of shit. With you give him a bow and arrow and he misses all the fucking time. He's brutal. It's useless. And I don't understand, I respect that they were trying to do something different with that temple, but I would have much preferred if you would have just made the enemies tougher or something, because it's just such a boring it's such a boring temple. And to top it all off, Tella's your one magic user. Like, Cecil's got cure, but he doesn't do anything. Tella's your magic user at that point. But Tella is never able to level up in these games. And if at least not his magic, because they can't get him over 90 MP because then he's got Meteo. Yeah. And that 90 magic points annoying. Is nothing. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Especially
fucking
when he
dungeon.
can use like level 3 spells and you're sitting there and you use 2 of them. You're like, well, either I have an ether or I can fuck off. I mean,
Yeah. And then you've got nothing else to do with it. It's just, I hate that. Like, nothing else in the game burns my ass as much as that fucking, I hate that fucking temple. Every time I come to it, I'm like, fuck, let's just get it
and
done and get it over with. I hate it. The
I hate
only
that
good thing
whole
about it,
story sequence. I mean, Edward gets into like Edward, who's lost his wife or his girlfriend or tell his daughter, ends up in a castle full of women, and he's depressed.
yeah, just laying
Something's
in bed
wrong
like,
with him.
oh, yeah. I do
Well,
like
can
that. I
land up
do
in
like
the
that
one with
Tella hates
men.
him.
Yeah,
I do like.
I agree with Tella. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that Tella. Like, that's the romance in the game is Cecil and Rosa, and then Edward and Tella's daughter. And Tella just hates. Tella hates that his daughter is dating a bard, the Spoony Bard. I like to think that that's what it's about. It's not that he hates Edward the
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He hates what Edward does.
Oh, he hates the fact that Edward faints at the sight of blood.
Yeah, he's like, you're such a bitch. But I do like that he hates him. And the Spoony Bard is like one of the greatest lines in Final Fantasy history.
Yeah,
Like, you
oh, yeah.
Spoony Bard. It's fucking awesome.
No, going back to that. Oh,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, going back to that cave really quick. I really dislike the story point where you have the twin harps and it's just the music that distracts the elf, and all of a sudden he can't cast his spell. I don't know.
Yeah.
That for me is a low part of the game.
The only thing I like about that cave is once you can equip your metal, it is satisfying. Like, you're like, I have just been nerfed. My strongest character has become just this useless sack of shit with a bow and arrow and one good eye. He can't do anything. But then once you can put all your metal back on, even once you're done with the dark elf and you're just making your way back out of the cave, fighting the enemies you've been fighting without your weapons, it's fucking feels good. Not enough to make the cave worth it, but it does feel good. Who's your favorite party member in this one?
Oh, Jesus. I'd probably go with Edge.
Edge
Just
is
because
my
I like
guy.
the ninja job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like throwing shit. It's more fun and satisfying to take all those weapons I've been saving for the entire game and just throw them at enemies.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Edge in this game is, like, I know that in every RPG there has to be one final party member that you get, and I know you get Fusoya after him, but I feel like Fusoya barely even counts because he's only there for a cup
He
of
doesn't
coffee.
count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best death sprite though, because he like just melts into his beard. He's just a beard with a bald head sticking out of the top. And I like that. But I agree. I wish you got Edge a little bit earlier, but I feel like he brings like Palom and Porum are the comedic relief in the first half of the game, and then Edge provides that in the second half.
I feel like he almost doesn't belong into it because he comes in so late in the game. He just feels like I don't know, just somebody you're a military kid, you move around, and all of a sudden you're the kid that shows up like in grade 4 and everybody's known each other since kindergarten.
Yeah.
It just feels like that sort of feeling. He's there, but he hasn't really been there for the adventure.
Yeah, especially at the end of the game, because like you said, once you have your final party, like you keep them for quite a while, and you've got like Cecil, Rosa, Rydia. Is that I pronounce it Rydia?
I pronounce it Rydia.
Rydia. Cecil, Rosa, Rydia, Kane, and then Edge is, and like Cecil, Kane, and Rosa go back presumably like to childhood. Like they live in that castle together forever.
Yeah.
And then you've known Rydia for the whole game because you meet her very young, very early on. And then Edge is just kind of like the fifth wheel, but they do such a great job with him because he's got the humor that the game sorely needs. Like he's a smart ass. I love watching him fight with Sid. It's fucking golden. And that's something I wanted to shout out. Phenomenal sprite work for them to, like, when Sid's trying to work on the airship and he comes over and like gets Edge to come help him. And you can tell that Edge is like leaning on a wall, flirting with the girls. And then Sid's coming to talk to him and Edge is like, fuck off, old man. And then Sid's like grabbing him and dragging him onto the ship and telling him what to do and yelling at him. And they make that all happen with just these two little sprites jumping up and down and looking at each other. I just think it's incredibly well done.
No, it's really well done in this game. A lot of the sprite work is just fantastically done.
It's spot on. Yeah, it's really good. And then for them to, I think the right play is for them to kill off Edge's parents, because I don't think there's any other reason for this prince of this country who clearly has like an ego and is kind of arrogant and full of himself and thinks he's king shit. There's no other for reason for him to follow this other foursome around other than like, yeah, they killed his parents and he wants revenge. And
Yeah.
And he even has like a moment where you have to fight like the mutant versions of his parents or whatever you want to call them. And it almost feels like it's like that coming of like they have to do it quickly because he's only with your party for about 4 hours at the end of the game. But they really make it seem like they're like, okay, this kid just grew up really fast. And now he's a valuable member of the team. The only issue with Edge, other than the fact that he joins your team so late, is it just me or like him being able to equip 2 swords is badass because he can do a lot of damage, but I am constantly reviving that fucking guy.
I don't have that problem. I find him actually pretty solid there.
Do you? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
I don't know.
I love the guy,
always
but I was
focus-
just like, buddy, all the guy did was sneeze. Get up. Fuck me, man. Like, you're a soccer player for fuck's sakes. But I agree. Edge is actually my favorite. Edge and Sid from Final Fantasy VII are my 2 favorite Final Fantasy characters, period. Edge is fucking a badass. He's awesome. And then I like Kane. I do feel like the second Kane heel turn is kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like it works, but I like it the first time. And then when he comes back, like,
yeah, he's kind of he's an interesting character. I don't know, the whole mind control thing where they did that, you know, Kane is being mind controlled by Golbez there, and then all of a sudden, whoa, Golbez is being mind controlled by somebody else, and it's like, come on.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just feels again, it just it seems like easy solution to a problem there. It's like all of a sudden now Golbez is a good guy, and it's like he's with Fusoya and they're fighting Zaramis or whatever his name is. And it's just I don't know. Maybe you should have killed Golbez and then Zaramis comes out and be like, ha ha ha, I was controlling him all the time, and then the story carries on from there.
I agree. Because I like it's kind of a cool twist that Cecil and Golbez are brothers. Like that's kind of a neat thing. But if you're going to reveal that like he actually hasn't been the villain and he's just been mind controlled this whole fucking time, like reveal it halfway through the game, because you have like an hour to build up hate for like the actual villain after you spent this whole game watching every party member you loved seemingly die to stop Golbez.
And then him and Fusoya fight Zaramis there, spamming the spells that killed Tella.
Yeah. Well, Tella's
I know
fragile
Tella was
and
old, but
yeah, Tella was old. I love how surly. I wish they would have leaned into that more too. I like surly Tella. I
like when he was just yelling at Edward.
Me too. Yelling at Edward, and I liked him and Sid chirping each other too.
Oh yeah.
Sid's good in this game. Sid.
This is one of the better Sids.
It is one of the better Sids. Because tell me you can't see Sid from this game, and you just see like when I envision Sid from this game, I envision a guy. For you wrestling fans, I envision like a guy built like Otis from WWE. Like he's pretty heavy. He's got the big beard. He's got a big like fuck off, I do what I want attitude, and he's got the heart of gold. And but he gets into it with Edge. He gets into it with fucking Tella. Like he's just kind of a prick. But you can Sid's awesome in this. I wish he rejoined your party when he catches you. When you jump out of the tower, I wish you got to use him again for a little while.
Yeah, right.
So it's not even that he's that good. It's just he's just a beauty to have in the party.
He's entertaining though.
Yeah. And I think Cecil is actually one of the better main protagonists of all the Final Fantasies I've played as well.
His redemption arc there at the very beginning of the game where he does the trial, the Mountains of Trial or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And you have to do that fight in the mirror against yourself, and it gives you the hint in the text there, but if you're not paying attention, you miss what you have to do, where it's just stand there and just eat a few hits there and then you beat the fight. I know people who've actually tried tooth and nail to kill that Cecil in the mirror, and it just doesn't work because it's like, I think, infinite health points.
I did as a kid. I did as a kid. Yeah. But I agree. His redemption arc is great.
Yeah, it's a great little twist in the game there, because you start off as a bad guy. Like, let's all cards on the table. You are a bad person. You're going around stealing the crystals, and now you got to beg for forgiveness, like that town that you went to at the opening cutscene. So now you're back there, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll forgive you if you turn into a paladin or some shit." And it's awesome, really well done. And that for me is like the highlight of the entire story. I think that's really the best part of the story, and then from there it really does stay at that level, but it never goes above it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that is like, because at the very beginning, yeah, you're stealing their crystal, the Mysidian crystal or whatever, and then the king gets mad at you for questioning him and sends you off to the village of Mist, and then you get there and set up a bomb and kill everybody and rescue this one little girl, and now you've been like outcast from your town, but the whole kingdom thinks you're a piece of shit, and then he redeems himself and just becomes this like awesome leader of this team. It's a great storyline, and I really do like the idea that like the villain is your brother, and you know find
Yeah.
out until the end. I just would have preferred, like you said, either he stays the villain until the end, or turn him face earlier and give us a new villain to like hate. You know,
Yeah.
like it kind of just
Oh,
yeah, it just kind of
I got
happens.
a question for you.
What's that?
What did you think of the boss fights against the Elemental Four?
You know, actually, I find all four of them incredibly easy.
They're easy, but I found them real. Like I like those characters.
I do too.
Like
I do like the
as
Elemental Four. Yeah,
yeah, and then I like the fuck, what's his name, Rubius or something, the fire guy, where he
Rubikins.
heals you. Yeah, he heals you before every fight there, and then you just like wipe the floor with him, and then you know he comes back. He's like, ha ha ha! Last time was luck, and he heals you again. You wipe the floor with him a second time.
Yeah, I actually I had forgotten about that angle. I like that part too because it gives him just a little bit of like I don't know if honor is too strong of word, but it
No,
almost
no,
has.
it's
He's
he's like a respectful fighter.
yeah, he's like, I'll make sure you're healed and then I'll kill you, and then you kill him. Whereas the other three are just these like pieces of shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
backgammon and sluts.
Yeah, I don't find any of them particularly difficult. The one
No,
fiend, the
I mean,
one fiend fight that can give you trouble if you, especially when you're new to the game, is when you're on Mount Ordeals to get to go and become a paladin, and you fight the one on the bridge, and it's all good. You beat him, and then when you get to the other side of the bridge, he pops up, and you have to fight him again. And if you don't know to reverse your rows and put your mages in the back or in the front, then he can really fuck you up in the early going because your
yeah,
mages, Palamporm and Tella are sitting at the front just taking it. But I know it's coming now, so I just flip them before I go to the bridge.
yeah, it's a nice little twist in the game too. I usually forget and I just pop them over in the first round and then spend the next like 3 rounds healing.
Yeah, it's really the only fights in the game I find tough are the final boss for some reason in the Pixel Remaster. That fucking door or the wall in the sealed cave, and
Yes.
then some of the summon fights. Like I find when you want to get Bahamut, that one's pretty tough. And then when you want to fight the king and queen of the summon kingdom, the king isn't hard, but ironically the queen whose summon is a healing summon, I find her to be among the toughest fights in the game.
Oh yeah, she's definitely like, I guess you'd call it the super boss of this game.
Yeah, she's vicious. It's fucking insane. But other than that, I don't find it to be like at the end of the day, and I'll ask you because you play more RPGs than me. Like, especially these older RPGs, it's not like the enemies scale up to your level. Like, if you want to just walk
Not
around
in
and
this one.
grind, yeah, you can just steamroll through it. So it's like, is this game tough? It's like only if you're not fighting everything.
If
Like,
you
as long
don't
as you're
do
sticking
any
with fights.
grinding at all, like you have to do a little bit of grinding early on in the game when you get Rydia or Rydia,
Mhm,
because she
mhm.
is a level 1 child, and you have to just kind of run around a bit and get her up a few levels. Otherwise, she's dying for every fight you do because she's
Yeah,
getting hit once and she's gone.
yeah,
So other than that, no, if you don't do any grinding in this game, yeah, you're going to start falling behind in levels and the game's going to get a lot tougher. And I think that's what they're kind of going for. But we learned early on in our lives that we have to spend some time running through the woods beating rats in
that's right.
order to be able to progress. So,
That's right.
yeah, the game is easy because you do level up faster than the game, but you do slow yourself down by having to grind for an hour or two here and there.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to say about because I wanted to spend a couple minutes on the Pixel Remaster because I played the Pixel Remaster of 6 on my Steam Deck a few years ago, and it was good, but at that time the ability to like skip or turn random encounters off and stuff wasn't included with the Steam version. So I never got to
Really?
use that, which I was a little irritated by because that was part of the reason I bought the Pixel Remaster. Playing it on my Xbox, the Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster, it was really like I love the spruced up graphics. Love the spruced up graphics. I thought the kind of updated music was very very good. I found the text, the font, very off putting because it was so skinny, and I like that big fat Super Nintendo Final Fantasy font.
You
But
can
whatever.
switch back to it still, can't you?
If you could switch the font, I don't know how. Maybe you could. I never found how.
Yeah,
But
you
if you
go through
could,
the configuration there, and that's where you also find your boost because you can do like the 4-time experience, 4-time money boost.
yeah. Now I never use the experience or money boosts, but dude, being able to turn off random encounters
Yeah.
is it's a slippery slope because this is a game designed for you to level up as you go through. So if you're constantly skipping all the battles, I didn't do that. I'm assuming the game might fuck you up a little bit if you
Oh,
skip too
it
many.
definitely is. I mean, if you get too far across the imaginary line where the enemies get harder, yeah, you're going to be screwed for a while.
Yeah.
But
But my God, dude. Like just if you just want to explore, like I had so much fun playing through it on this because I was like, I can just go looking for treasure chests and stuff that I know are there, but I'm like, I can't be bothered to go through there and deal with that. But knowing that I can turn off those nonstop obnoxious random encounters and
yes.
just go looking was a gift from the gaming gods.
Yeah. See, I did
Uh
use the boost the money and the experience boost, but I used it, I don't know, I guess kind of sparingly because when I'd normally grind, I would just use it then, just kind of speed the process up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd want to buy the items in the store there, and I'd run around and I'd, get the money, and then I'd go buy the stuff and then carry on with the quest. But at the end of the game is probably the only time I could think of that if you're playing the game legit, that boost would be your best friend because if you're having a tough time beating the final boss, boosting in that final part of the cave and then healing up and then turning off encounters and going to fight the boss without having to fight anything along the way is probably one of the best features of Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster.
For sure. Yeah, it's I thought it was a very well done, like a very well done remaster. I really really to the point where I almost pulled the trigger on buying the rest of the collection, and the only reason I didn't was because I was like I'm not going to play any of them anytime soon, and I'm sure this is a problem so many gamers can relate to. I need to stop buying games just to let them sit in my backlog. Like
Yeah,
I'll buy
yeah.
it when I'm ready to play it, you know?
I started doing that and I've been getting so many games on sale lately.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking. Oh my god. I know there's a big Steam sale coming up soon, and I'm just like, oh god, no, because I can't even. I don't even know all the games I have in my fucking Steam library
I
anymore.
don't think anybody does.
No, but I am gonna buy the rest of these Pixel remasters because I've been really really impressed with them. Uh, and dude, I really just like replaying 4. It's just such a special game to me, and I love the pacing. I love the story. I love every character but Edward. One thing I think it does incredibly well too is it gives you what you need. You always seem to have somebody with white magic, someone with the right magic, someone with the black,
Oh yeah,
like
very balanced.
yeah, like even compared to like Final Fantasy 1 where you pick your 4 jobs, like your 4 party members, and then that's your team for the game. And Final Fantasy 6, you've got a roster of what, 16 characters or something. That you can rotate in and out with different powers. This one, like it's like you're like, oh man, we just lost Tella, and that fucking sucks. But then it's like, hey, here's Rosa. She's got white magic. You're fine.
Yeah.
They always seem to sub in what you need when you need it, and it's paced incredibly well
Yeah,
that way.
definitely they spent more time focusing on the story rather than the party management and I don't know, depending on how I feel, some games I find like role-playing games, especially lately, become a little bit too overly picky with the party management or the character management there, and I feel like it just kind of takes away from me playing the game. I mean, some people like that, and obviously they're popular, like Elden Ring and what all that. But I like this game's simplicity. It's just literally almost playing a storybook. It gives you
Yeah,
everything you need, like you said. You just follow the story, have some fun, 20 hours in and out, and then you're off to the next thing.
yeah. I think it's a great like it was my first RPG. Like my first RPGs were this, Earthbound, and Super Mario RPG. And there's no secret around here that my 3 favorite RPGs are Final Fantasy IV, Earthbound, and Super Mario RPG. At least my 3 favorite retro RPG. Like I love those 3 games. And I think this is a great place for people to start. I think if you start with something like I love Mario RPG, but that's almost too simplified,
Yeah.
you know? I think if you were
This
to go from
has
that to 4, you might be in over your head a little bit.
yeah, this was my first RPG as well. Like I know it was yours. And you're right, like this is the one that got me into role-playing games. Broke me from the mindless platforming into the world of storytelling, and this is probably a great game for people who want to dip a toe into the RPG pool,
Agreed.
but don't want to commit to those games like Elden Ring that require a lot of party management. So you get
Yeah.
the story, you get the RPG elements, you get the fantasy story and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is definitely one I'd recommend as a starting point for anybody who's interested.
Yeah, there's 3 franchises that I get asked all the time, like, "Hey man, I've never played it before. Where should I start?" And it's Zelda, Mega Man, and Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
And I've said for some time now, I know some will argue 6. I will always say that I think Final Fantasy 4, which is Final Fantasy 2 on the Super Nintendo, I really think that is the Final Fantasy to start with
yeah.
because
Oh, six is again a lot of party management.
yeah, I think if you like 4, I can't see a world where you don't like 6 because it's just a bigger 4,
Yeah,
but a lot bigger and a lot more like there's not a single missable character in 4. And that's one of the things I like about it as well is that like we were saying, there's just not a lot you can miss. Like you can miss getting the Excalibur sword. You can miss getting out of the better armor. You can miss out on a couple of summons that you're probably not. Well, Bahamut, get Bahamut. You're gonna need him, but you can skip some of the other ones. But there's not a ton to like. It's and no matter how stuck you are, you can always just go grind. And I don't even
yeah.
find there to be a lot of instances where I can't figure out where to go. Maybe it's because I've played it so many times, but the game is
Oh,
pretty
it's
generous.
very linear. If you can't get around the mountain, go the other way. And yeah, the game takes you from place to place to place. I mean, you when you get to Yang's castle, I can't remember what it's called, and then you get on a boat, and all of a sudden Leviathan like tears the boat apart, and then you wake up somewhere else. And I think maybe that no, that's I can't remember what part of the story that is, but
Yeah, that's where you wake up at the village with Palamimporum, where you had stolen their
right.
crystal to start the game.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is.
Mysidia or
And
whatever
that's
it's
where the
called.
redemption arc starts and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I really think the only time the game is kind of cryptic on where to go is when you get the key and you need to find the hole to throw it into the
Oh,
well.
yeah, that one took me a minute to remember.
Yeah, that one fair enough. That one you can get lost at. But it's pretty forgiving. It's I don't know, man. I just have such a I love everything. I love the characters. I love their sprites. I even love the artwork they use for each character's face. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
the menu screen. Like I love everything about this game.
Yeah, the guy who drew all that, you always see the fancy Final Fantasy artwork from like 4 and 6 when we were young. There, the guy who drew that is absolutely immaculate in his art.
No, it's spectacular. Like just gorgeous. It's just it's gorgeous to look at. It holds up. It's still fun to play. I love the story. I love the characters. Edward sucks, but every game's got to have one kind of sucky character.
It's law. If you don't have somebody to hate, you're gonna find somebody to hate.
Yeah. Yeah. If I could rewrite the game, I would have Edward turn out to be the Golbez. He'd be Golbez. He just takes his mask off. And then it turns out that Tella's daughter was killed by her husband.
She was Fusoya.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess Fusoya kind of like I don't know. He serves a purpose, but he kind of sucks too.
No, he's only there for like a quick second. I mean,
Yeah. The fun
he's
thing
just there
about
to
him.
fill in a plot point.
Yeah. The fun thing about him is he's like Tella if Tella
Lived?
took the handcuffs off.
Yeah,
Like every spell, you've got tons of magic points. They're like, you know what? Go ahead, just go fuck around. Go do because dude, as a kid, I wanted so badly to be able to just cast Medio with because that's what it was called in the Super Nintendo version with Tella. And I was like, when you go into his like stats to look up how much experience points he needs to level up, it's like, holy fuck. And then when he does level up, he doesn't gain any magic points because they
Yeah.
can't give it to him. I like, why not just let him level up and get more MP and just not let him remember how to cast that spell? And that way you don't break the game, you know?
yeah.
Whatever.
That
I'm
would
just,
have been
I'm
nice.
just,
But That might have broken the game anyways, because I mean, you had spells that were late game spells in the early game going. So
Yeah, I'm just griping now.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. One last hard hitting question. We're getting close to wrapping this up. This has been fun. This has been a very laid back. This has been a good time. What do you prefer? Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3, or Fire Aga, Fire Aja, or whatever the fuck they use?
Gaga,
Because
all that new crap they're doing. Yeah, I actually got used to the new stuff, so I
I'm
could.
such a simp for like, I like Cure 1, Cure 2, Cure 3, Cure
Yeah,
4. Fire 1, 2, 3. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was my first game, but I like that. Bothers
yeah. I
me.
don't know. I've gotten used to the new way of they do things, and I'm fine with it. But yeah, I do kind of miss the simplicity of just telling me it's level 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah. I liked that. I liked that better, but minor thing. I don't know. It was always something cool to me. So, think, one last thing I wanted to ask you. In the Pixel Remaster, they give so many characters like extra abilities. I know some of them had them like in the original game as well, but like most of the, three-quarters of those abilities are just useless.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
Um,
just garbage.
Okay, I got a question for you because this is something I can't remember, and I just can't be bothered to look it up. Did Cecil have that Black Knight ability where he could shoot everybody with his sword usable in the original Super Nintendo game?
I'm 90% sure he did not.
That's what I thought, and
Yeah.
they added it to the Pixel Remaster because it's also useless there. Like if you want to spend a longer time killing weak enemies, use that. But I don't
Yeah.
remember it being in the original Super Nintendo game.
No, I don't either. I'm almost positive he did not have it in the original game. And it was fucking, yeah, it was useless. I agree. It was a
Yeah,
fucking useless ability.
most of them were outside of Twin Magic. Twin Magic fucks.
Twin Magic was fucking deadly. Yeah, agreed. But yeah, other than that, most of them are fucking hot garbage. And then Jump, of course. But
Yeah.
that's, well, you're right. So do you put Kane in the back row and just let him jump, or do you leave him up front?
No, I leave him up front because I don't use jump until I'm in a boss fight, and then I always have Edge at the bottom, Cecil in the middle because he's the leader,
Yeah.
Kane at the top, and then the back row is Rosa at the top and Rydia at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. If I have Kane in the front, that's how I do it as well. But I don't know. I tried for this playthrough. I left him in the back. And it was kind of neat because, yeah, like he doesn't take as much damage, and I just had him jumping more. The only problem was like it was a pain in the ass in like little fights where I just wanted to get them done. And I'm waiting for him to, I'm like, anytime you're ready, Kane, fucking dive down now, buddy. But that jump is, my God, that jump is a lifesaver sometimes.
Oh yeah,
Holy
that
fuck.
jump is a game ender for me.
Oh man, because you're right. Like when you're fighting that final boss, I can't imagine how many people have won that fight because he's used that stupid Big Bang attack, and Kane has been the one that's been gone, and he's missed him. So when I beat it this time, everyone was alive to win that fight except for Edge, who's never fucking alive. But I'd bring Edge alive, whip the hardest weapon I have at the fucking boss, so that he would die again. And then I kept putting haste on Rosa just so that she could fucking Curaja everybody as fast as possible. But
yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah. So man, what a game! I adore this game. I'm such a sucker for this. And you know what's really cool is like replaying it over the last couple of weeks. It's not just this, because there are those games, and I'm sure you've been hosting a retro gaming show now for a couple of years. It hurts when you like go to review a game that you love, and then you like replay it, and you're like, oh, this actually isn't as good as I remember it being.
Oh yeah, that's happened a few times now. Where nostalgia glass is just like, oh, you gotta love this game, it's so great, and then we're talking about it, it's like, it's not that good.
Yeah, and I'm glad that wasn't the case with this one. I was still like, this holds up. This is a good.
I will
game.
say, pixel art and RPGs are like the best combination. Every pixel based game that is an RPG, I think, is just absolutely fantastic and gets bumped up a level for me.
Yeah, me too. Okay, sorry, a couple more, and then we're gonna call it. Let's say tomorrow Square Enix announces Final Fantasy 17. Do you think there's any chance they wind back the clock and make another pixel art RPG at this point, or is that what they're doing with Octopath and stuff, and they're never going to get another Final Fantasy like that? And B, if they did decide to make another Final Fantasy like that, would you want one?
Okay, this is a tough question. But
I know.
Yeah, I would want one. It would be absolutely like awesome to have another pixel Final Fantasy game, but the 2.5 HD or whatever it's called, I'm not overly fond of it anymore. Like it was gimmicky, it was beautiful. Like Octopath Traveler, all those games, Dragon Quest 3 blows my mind for how good it looks.
Yeah.
I would love if they went back to like the Pixel Remaster style of pixel game. Give us just a classic, good old SNES pixel RPG redo, and then I would be throwing my money at like I'd pre-order it. That's how much I'd want it. But I feel like they're gonna go try to mimic Expedition 33 and then try to do those overly complicated 3D graphics in the Unreal Engine again.
I do too. I think like Expedition 33 fucking walked into Square Enix's kitchen and ate their lunch. Like they did like, cause listen, I know there's lots of companies out there making RPGs, but most retro gamers would agree that at least there was a time where Square Enix was just like Nintendo was the platforming place, Square Enix was the RPG company at one point.
Yeah. I used to buy games solely because Square was on the box.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And depending on who you ask, yeah, they've kind of lost their way. Maybe not. Maybe they have. But I think if they try, like we know they're working on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, but whatever Final Fantasy 17 turns out to be, if they try to go Expedition 33, like that route, I'm not saying they can't, but I don't know if they can win that. And I don't know if I want another 3-dimensional action. Like I like Final Fantasy VII Remake a lot, but I don't need another Final Fantasy 16. Like I want go back to a 2D turn-based one for one of these. Like imagine what you could do with that now. And I think it would get the gaming. Like I think Square Enix needs a win. Yeah. And I think
they got a lot of good
one
games.
Like this would be that.
Yeah, their Final Fantasy, they've got a lot of great games. With their Final Fantasies lately, they've just been, I don't know, I like Final Fantasy 15. I know I'm in a minority of people there, but it is definitely by far not a good Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's just better than what came before it, after 10 and before 15. 16, I loved as a game. I just don't feel like it's a Final Fantasy outside of the character names and the crystals.
No, I respect them for trying something different. Like that's good for you. Like you tried something different. I can respect that. But I'm go back to where this all started, and I think they would get people talking, and I think it'd be exciting. I'm like everybody else. Like I'll be waiting with fucking eyes wide open when they announce Final Fantasy 17. I want to see what it is, but I'd like to see them try something new because I don't know if they're there anymore. Like especially playing this, like you go back and play a Final Fantasy 4 or Final Fantasy 6, and I'm like Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 16. Like you guys can't touch these games.
No, they can't. They've never captured this magic because they're getting too complex in their storytelling. And the joys of Final Fantasy IV was it's very simplistic. I mean, it was a very easy game to follow. But Final Fantasy 16, I still don't know the story.
Same here, buddy. I have no, and I want to say, like, I didn't hate Final Fantasy 16 either.
No, like, I didn't either.
It was fine. I gave it a review on Expansion Pack. It's fine. It's not my favorite Final. It's fine. But I hope boy, like they saw the reception to the Pixel remasters. People love them. Like, try that again.
Yeah.
You could probably turn it around faster. I can't imagine what you could do with one now. Let's have some fun. Try that.
You know what? They should make a Final Fantasy game that connects all the Final Fantasy games.
I would love that. Like if you went through different dimensions and shit.
Oh yeah, but not even that. Like you go through a dimension and you're in the NES graphics of Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3. Then you go through another dimension. You like it just builds up. Have you ever played Evoland?
No.
No, it's this indie game where you start out with nothing, and as you find treasure chests and stuff, like you get graphics, and then you get 8-bit sound, then you get 16-bit sound, and then it works its way all the way up until you're like in near modern day graphics for when that game came out. Uh, really, really neat concept. I'd love to see something like that applied to like a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Show us where you came from and where you are.
Yeah. I don't know. Very interested to see where they go next. Cause I had more fun replaying Final Fantasy IV for this episode than I did playing. Probably the most fun I've had with a Final Fantasy since the original Final Fantasy VII remake. Like,
Yeah.
I just had a blast with it. Come on, Square. We're cheering for you. The gaming world needs a win. We're not cheering against you. Just give us what we're all asking you for. That's all.
Yeah, right.
And don't. Sorry. And then we're gonna Did you play the sequel, the After Years?
Oh fuck yes, I played it. I remember I played it through and through when it first came out, and I tried to play it again not too long ago, and because it's episodic, and then you start out with Cecil and Rosa's son. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. That starts off a good little story there, and then you go to Rydia again, and Rydia is absolutely weak, and it's just, I don't know, it just at that point I just stopped playing because I was just bored.
Yeah, I've tried twice, and I'm just like, I remember I got that on my Wii, and literally as excited as I've ever been for a Wii game in my life, because I'm not a big Wii guy. And I was like, man, this fucking sucks. And I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not playing this
It's
anymore. Good concept.
It's like putting on a pair of underwear and realizing the shit stain's still in there.
It's no shit. It's literally like finally getting the sequel to a movie you've been waiting for a sequel for forever, and then being like, oh,
yeah.
Looking at you, Happy Gilmore 2. So
hey, I didn't hate the Happy Gilmore 2. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it though.
I was on the verge of hate. I don't know if I would say like hate, but verge of hate. Verge. We got to score this thing. The most damage you can do in this game is 9,999. So
yes.
Let's do that. What score would you give Final Fantasy IV out of 9,999?
Out of all the bad stuff I said, I'm going to knock a little bit off of it. So I'm going to give it that one that gives you just the hope that you've maxed out, but you just quite haven't. So I'm going to give it a 9,990.
Oh, Jesus. I'm not going that high. That's good though. Yeah. I'm going to give it like 8,900. Like it's
this game gets the bump because it was my first JRPG. I have a lot of memories. I have a story where I erased my brother's save file after he leveled up to level 99 with all the characters, and he still holds that over my head.
As he should.
Yeah, I did it twice. That's the fun part.
Yeah. Then he should have just beat your ass.
Oh yeah, he still punches me every time I bring it up. But no, it's the nostalgia of the game. The fact it was my first JRPG. It was a game that really sucked me in, and I never let go. And I've been playing JRPGs since. And then you get games like Sea of Stars that give you that nostalgia bump, and it makes me really pine for the days of Final Fantasy IV again, and that's why it gets a high score from me.
Yeah. Oh, man. Can you imagine if Square Enix gave us a Sea of Stars? Like, that's Sea of Stars is fucking, oh my God, what a game. Yeah, I'm going 8,900. It's my first RPG. It holds up. I still think it's fantastic. I still think it's a great entry point for people that want to get into Final Fantasy, and it's just one of my favorite games of all time. And it's not just nostalgia. I just think it's I just love it. I just love that fucking video game. I love this game. Fucking A, man. That was good. That was fun. We could have gone for like another hour, but we're going to call it because I've been podcasting since 11 a.m. and it's almost 4 o'clock now, and I just don't want to talk anymore. You podcast as well. Tell the world about your adventures.
All right. Well, if you like what you hear here, you can find us at Retrotopia, wherever you get your podcasts. We're just actually this week is our 100th episode, so we've been at it for about 2 years, just shy of 2 years now, and yeah, it's a fun time. Retro video games. 3 of us, myself, and 2 of your Discord members, Captain Alcatraz and Storm Beagle. We got together and we just started talking old video games, and next thing you know, we found out we really liked it, and we just kept doing it. And so yeah, Retrotopia, check it out.
Yeah, congrats on 100 episodes too. That's
fucking thanks.
Most shows don't make it that far. That's a good.
That's mind blowing that we're in the triple digits now.
Feels good, eh? It just,
Yeah, it does.
it's fucking crazy. I know. I remember when we hit 100 and I was like, holy fuck, I can't I said no one would listen to episode 1 and we made it to 100. It's fucking crazy. So
Yeah, it's amazing.
Uh,
Like we're steadily growing, which is kind of nice too.
hell yeah. That's the name of the game. Stick with it. That's always tell people. Like it's the number one piece of advice I can tell people when they're like, dude, what do I do? Like any advice for podcasting? And it's like, just stick with it. That first year, like you're not going to know what you're doing. You're going to be looking to find your stride. It's going to be tough. Just have fun. That's like, pick something. Like, don't pick what you think the world needs a podcast about. Pick something you're interested in talking about, because otherwise you're going to quit before you get listeners.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people have the same interests as you when you start talking about stuff, and then they're jumping in on the conversation too. It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's absolutely 100%. Good for you guys, man. Thank you for doing this. You guys can find a link to Retrotopia in the description of this podcast, presuming I remember to put one in there, which I think I will. And fucking hey, buddy. Congrats on 100. Thanks for doing this. Great chatting, and we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Cap, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking some Final Fantasy IV. And congratulations on 100 episodes, buddy. That's fucking huge. Everybody check them out, Retrotopia. You can find a link in the description of this podcast. And of course, if you are hearing these words, you've rolled the dice on our show. And if that is the case, whether it's your first Remember the Game or your 348th or any other random number, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Really, thank you. I meant it during the intro or during the blowing in the cartridge. Not a day goes by. I've been doing this for over 7 years, and not a day goes by that I don't realize how fortunate I am to have the opportunity to do this. And sure, I probably have some episodes that are better than others, and some where you're like, man, he sucks. This episode sucks. He wasn't feeling it that week. But it's very rare that I don't try. I try so hard to let you all know how much I appreciate you and to deliver the best shows I can. And like, is the show good? Sometimes. Sometimes it's pretty bad. But I'm aware of how fortunate I am, and I wouldn't be here right now without all of you. I'm grateful. I guess that's the point. So thank you all so much. It feels so weird because now I'm like, if you want to give me even more, go to Patreon. But like, that's I have to do patreon.com/remember the game. You know the spiel by now. I don't need to do it again. $3 a month, greatest deal in the history of the internet. Just thank you. Just listening to this has changed my life. So thank you all so much. Check out our Reddit. Check out our YouTube. Check out our Facebook. We're like 600 people on Facebook now. I don't go in there too often because I hate Facebook. But look for Remember the Game over there. You'll find us. You can find all my socials. Just go to the website, rememberthegamepodcast.com. That'll do all the heavy lifting for you, okay? I'm going to thank some patrons. I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate all of you so much for listening. If you are a patron, come back tomorrow for Expansion Pass. It'll be our second edition of Spiciest Gaming Takes. I'll read some of your hot takes and rank them out of 1 to 5 on the hotness scale. The Rambling Idiot on Friday. I'm going to talk some pro wrestling and whatever else is on my mind. And next week, we're back with a whole nother slab of podcasts, including, Remember the Game 349, Fire Emblem for the GBA. Should be a gooder. Take it easy, everybody. Oh, yeah, leave us a nice review, please. Please? I'm supposed to ask for them. Please. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers, so long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to say their names as fast as I can at the end of the episode. So a huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famers, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Sharonic, J Nasty 15, Jork King Keeks, Dissect That Film, Doug Dorn, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Eldest Millennial, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, JSK Fusick, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Dean Donian, Titan 420, Jeff Bergeron, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Ya used me, Skinner. I like that. Holmes, Zach Shepard, Captain Black Silver, 333, Chucker 22, Elijah Burns, It's That Nerd, James, Madam Nutsitch, DBXJ, Steve Dulk, Standard Ass, Brian, Dude, Where's My Game, Miziru, Juris Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Jake Carter, Laces Out Dan, Growly Wog, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westrich, Russ's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Matt Babineau, Gabe, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon, Rowe, Blame the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Jimothy, Orokusaki Yankees Gardner. Coda Blaze blows all right. He blows big time. Cody Richardson, General Fury. I am the very model of a modern Major General. Max Lagroom, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast. Drugs bad, okay. Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Hits Meals, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Quiet Place Queen, Christopher Bitt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadbull, T-Bear 87, Maverick in the Black Hole of Ass known as the Internet, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monstrous D Boner, AB Killen works for me, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, please refrain from tasting the knob, Scotty J, Just Car Prank, Zombie Exy, Bartman Forever, Dark Skywalter, Postman, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Ryan 4664, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Pee Wee Squitter, Nordak, Leroy Jenkins. Penis. This one says in a Nixon voice, penis, but penis. Beers of War, Because 19, Infinity Rage, Lord Longron Von Hugendom II, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Sour Goat Face, Faded Sufferance, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Chris Hill isn't scared, that could be anyone's ass. B Money, Penguin Milk, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chozo Rizzo, you son of a bitch, why? Tell me why. E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jake Callahan, Robbie Air, Brian Richmond, Blue Shell Discharge, Bula, Matt Zeus, Too Much Karma, Mopey 36, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, JR Bob Dobbs, Bob Sacamano, Chaz Hammond, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Ryan Whitcomb, Justin Tate, Daddy Secret Little Chubby, Thrill Ho, Toby O.P., Scotty McGee, Alex McIntyre, Spider Cat, Eric Hopewell, Darbles, Generic Name 238, Uder Broughton, David Schroeder, Muncal, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Brother Retro, Conebread, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Daniel Cook, Desiree, Super Science Nefarious. I feel like I've been about to fuck a whole bunch of these up, and I'm just barely hanging on here. Savage Boosh, The Only Sean, The Grim Patron, MacGyver88, Travis Sanders, Lord Salazar, Flater Flav, Erotic Onion Ring, Captain Assberry Juice, Doogie Bowser MD, Topher Love, Thunder Leaps, Jinxie425, Akiris Network, Horror Wars Podcast, fuck, I suck at my job. Horror Wars Podcast, Jeff Leopard, Game Boy Gannon, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Steaming Wooly, Bodsfucker, Mikey Hag, Shane's World, Devin Collins, fuck! Why am I struggling here? We got 23 to go. Devin Collins, Cannon Fodder Games, Trooper Galactus, Exotic Chaotic, Just James, Spooky Dookie, Profound, Frank Preeves, The Okayest of Muffins, Landed Turquoise, Siegfried, Mandroid the Reploid, Tyler Patchell, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Raph is my favorite turtle, not Donnie, Lindsay Lee, Jonathan Breyer, Redline Arrow Drones, George Swan, King Tiki Tiki, The $100 Kid Ted Michaels, Amanda Hugginkiss, Chris Nethercutt, and Athena. Oh, I don't understand. I was doing so good. I've been like feeling it this week. And then I was just like running down a hill, falling over my own feet. Oh my God. Well, thank you all for the support. And thank you for paying for the shout out that I just thoroughly butchered. I appreciate all of you. Thanks so much, everyone. Talk to you next week. Cheers.
Oh,